Hello and welcome to the Thoughtful Realtor Podcast. I'm Connie Chung and I'm one of the founders of Willamar Real Estate. And this is a podcast about all things related to real estate, lifestyle, the market, and what it's like to be a realtor and running a business in California. And today I'm so excited because I'm here with Tong, the owner and artist behind One Cup Studio here in Sierra Madre, California.
Hi, hello. My name is Yao. Welcome. Thank you for having me, and always welcome to be here. My name is Yao, and nice to meet you, Connie.
Yeah, so nice to have you on the podcast. And Yao, to give our listeners a chance who may not be seeing our YouTube, but know that you can watch this on YouTube and see the beautiful studio. I remember the first time I walked in here, I was blown away because you've created such a warm space. I know your mom and dad have been really helpful in
Yes, they're always so supportive.
putting it together, and also just the work that you've created. And why I wanted to bring you on into the podcast is because one, I'm personally a lover of ceramics and homemade and created goods, and so much of it I feel like helps to root a space and make it feel like home. And for our clients, we actually gift a lot of ceramics
Thank you.
as a way to help them create that space and have a conversation starter. It's usually maybe a big platter or a really beautiful vase, or even just having that cup of nice mug that just gives you a cozy feel. So we are big fans of your work, and I'm excited to learn more about you and your journey.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let me know.
Yes. Well, tell us how did your interest in ceramics begin?
It was all by accident. I first started when I was in high school in Tamil City. I was trying to do painting. I was trying to take a painting class because I was thinking no one's gonna have a kiln or a wheel at home. But if I have a pen, I can draw anytime. But then luckily, the class was full. So the counselor told me maybe you should try ceramics. And then that's how I ended up doing it. So it was all accident.
Yeah. But at 15, you knew what a kiln was?
Yes, we because I think in Tamil City High School we have very good educations on all the art platforms, and since we were there, we just visited to a lot of different classrooms, and slowly, little by little, we start to learn what a kiln is for.
That's incredible.
And all the glazes and all the little things we just start to learn since that we were in high school.
Ooh, that's a really good tidbit too for folks who are exploring home buying in Temple City. Having grown up in the neighborhood, it's incredible to hear of the arts program that they have at Temple City High.
Yeah, I think they have all different type of like painting classes, and I think now they even have the coding, or we used to have a class that teach how to cook, and we have a lot of different things here in Tamil City.
I was a neighboring high school. Ours was not as advanced, I don't think. And then how did you just fall in love immediately? Was it hard, or did it just click for you?
I think little by little. When I was still in high school, I wasn't just get right into it. I first majored in graphic design at the beginning, but then little by little, I feel like ceramics keep on coming into my life, and I think maybe I should just give it a chance. I'll apply college. If I make it in, then I'll change my major the last minute, and that happened, and I went to California College of Art in San Francisco, and the last minute, and that's how it just changed my whole journey and everything.
Wow. And tell me more, because both of us being Asian, I know, especially at least for first generation Asian Americans, there's not a lot of encouragement to go into the arts. But I know your parents have been so supportive in your journey. Has that always been the case?
Oh yes, it always happened. I always joking. I always tell like, oh, it's so good that I have two youngest brothers, so my parents have a backup. but just kidding. They are very supportive since the beginning, and I feel like I'm the lucky one. Because I know not many Asian parents are willing to let their kids to start with art, but luckily my parents are one of them. So I always feel happy and lucky to do that.
Yeah, and you mentioned that your mom is from Taiwan, you grew up in Hong Kong. Was art in your daily life outside of school?
Not as strong.
Yeah.
Especially when I grew up in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a very fast city. Everyone walks so fast, and even though now when I go back to Hong Kong as a visitor, I see everyone that walks so fast. I just immediately I start to walk fast too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. You pick
it's
up
like
that city pace.
Yes,
Like,
I have never been to New York, but I think that's the same
Yes.
as New York culture. That in a city, everyone just like start to walk fast, but. I
even in
think-
San Francisco. Did
Yes,
you
yes,
experience
even
that
in
when
San
you were a
Francisco, yes,
student?
exactly,
Yeah.
yes. But I think sometimes I try to have everything balanced in my life. So even though a city is very fast, I always try to remind myself to slow down a little bit because everyone's so fast. I like to be opposite, kind of thing. I like to play around with, maybe if I not walk so fast, maybe I see different view of things. So that's how, that's me.
It's a good challenge because it's so easy to fall or adapt to your surrounding, but to hold true to yourself, especially the art of making ceramics, it's a very slow process too.
Yes, it is. And I feel like every process of making is a conversation to myself, also to user. I never really view myself as an artist. I think I'm more a craftsman or maybe a designer. I think the biggest difference is if you're an artist, you might not have to worry about what other people feel. But as a ceramicist, I think it's a little different, as a potter at least, because I think if I make a cup, it's not only for me, but also for other users. I always tell other people that I only make 30% of my work. The other 30 is the kiln guard, and the rest 30 is the users. The users decide how to use the cup. Today, when I make a cup, but when someone come in, sometimes they always tell me like, oh, I don't use it as a cup. I use it as a cup, a pencil holder or something like that. I found fun and interested because I know my work is not only used to what I view that it should be, but maybe it can has other possibility. And I think that's the best part of doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's incredible. How about walk us through your process? Like even the mug that you're drinking out of, how do you approach it, your work?
For me, I think every time when I look at my work, I try to think about like how it can be useful. The inspiration is, I'm a person that gets tired with things very easily, as you can tell. Like I always try to have different colors, different shapes, different things. And I think going through all the making processes, I enjoy the time that I make different things and to create different stuff, and that always make me happy and excited.
Do you have kind of an end vision of what you expect or want it to look like?
I always tell people, my parents ask me the same questions all the time, and I tell them like, I feel like I have a special ability that when I make a cylinder, because every shapes of pottery, they always start with a cylinder, and through the cylinder you make a little curve to make the shape different. I always feel like I can see before I make the shape. Like it's a little thing, How it's gonna be? Maybe the curve should be underneath or on top. And when I think from my first pottery teacher, his name is Kim. We always call him Miss Kim. Miss Kim told me she's my first pottery teacher, and she told me sometimes you don't have to. You have to talk to the clay. Like sometimes maybe you want this to be a cup, but sometimes maybe the clay want to be a bowl, and it doesn't have to be a cup. Like sometimes I think it's between the conversation between myself and the clay, and that makes the piece different. Sometimes if I want to have a curve like that, maybe the piece want to have an angle or like something other things. So I enjoy talking and building the conversation with the clay for it. So what
does your process look like when you go into your studio? Do you make a handful of things, and what does the timing process look like? Because I think, especially me as an everyday user, I don't know how much labor goes into it, and the timing too.
Yes, we have a lot of different ways in pottery. For me, I'm more like a potter. So I first get a bag of clay, we ratchet to a ball shape, and then put it on the wheel through a cup, wait until it get dry, and then we create all the glazes. We have our own recipe. Different potter has their own recipes, and we create all the glazes. After the firing, each firing takes 3 days. So after the first firing, we apply the glazes on and wait until you get dry, and then we start the kiln, and then we fire another 3 days. So it's a very long process of it. Especially me as I'm only a one-person guy, so every time I have to wait until the kiln is fully packed before I can start the kiln. So that takes a while.
How many items can you even fit into the?
A lot of people ask me that question.
So
yes, but every time it's a little different because sometimes we make a sake cup, for example, and that take smaller amount of space, so we can fire more of them. But sometimes if we fire a larger vases, then that will take up more space and we fire less. So I would say maybe around 50 to 100 pieces each time. I don't have a large kiln, so.
Wow, incredible. And then for you, I'm curious, do you have your favorite pieces?
This is
I'm just looking around in your studio.
I would say no, because I treat all my cups the same, personally, but I do have some cups or some things that I like to use every day. For me, I like the one that has a darker color or cleaner shape. Maybe because I have viewed all my cups. Like my cups are all very colorful things, as you can see, but after looking at them, I think what I go for is the one that is more like no color,
more neutral.
or like neutral, yes.
And do you prefer more of the matte or the glazed?
I'm a person that prefer matte glaze more. But it really depends because some I think it's a funny thing to say because for glazes is like glass. So some more clear glazes or transparent glazes that you see all the glazes contain more glass. That's why it makes it glossy. And the one that is more matte because there's more like clay and thing inside, so it doesn't shiny as much. Yeah, that's the little things behind
This is why I think it's kind of these works of art, they're so incredible. They are great conversation starters, and for people, it just starts and creates intrigue. And I think what's beautiful about ceramics is that, and your pottery is that it's both beautiful and a work of art and practical and utilitarian. You can use it for so many things. So that's such a great balance. That's, as someone, I think growing up Asian too, especially, just appreciating that you can make use of something and touch it with your hands.
Yes,
as well.
I think it feels so very different. Yeah.
Very tactile. How did you get to a point where you went from this being something that was a passion and something you studied and really learned, and how did that turn into then a business for you?
Well, I think I would say it all started after in our college in California College of Art. Before we graduate, each person has their graduation show. And luckily enough, I make enough doing my show to start my own little small studios at home. And I still remember I used all the money to get two wheels and one kiln. And my parents are very supportive, as I mentioned, and they allow me to use the garage to start a home studio, and that's how I started. And so.
And then for your home studio, is that something you would commit to full time?
Yes, I always work in a full time. I'm a person that if I get into one thing, I just go straight into it. Yes, and I start full time right away. And although I don't make a lot of money, but I think in San Gabriel Valley and Tamil City at the beginning, everyone here is so supportive to young artists. I realized that because when I look back, I still remember the beginning. My work are very like not good. But people
To
are
you, I'm sure it was incredible to other people.
but people are still willing to support young
Yeah.
artists. I think that's the valuable things in between the community, which is very important because not everyone start with professional here and there, but it's very important to have them to support since we were young, and to give us like, oh, maybe I can do this,
Yeah.
and because of them, I'm here.
Wow.
So
That makes me so happy to hear, especially growing up in the neighborhood as well, to see so much community support. And I think that's what's incredible, both in real estate and as a realtor and as a business owner, you really do help shape the community and you're part of the community.
Yes.
And I'd love to hear, I know you had your studio in Temple City and then you recently opened up a brick and mortar in Sierra Madre.
Yes.
And I know you've shared that the community support has been so great. Can you give me some examples?
Yeah, I still remember the first time I am in Sierra Madre is around 6-7 years ago. It was a rainy day, and then my parents and I just drove by, and inside the car, when we look out, we saw everyone's very relaxing, holding a cup of coffee, enjoying their life. You don't see that elsewhere, and I feel like so I told my parents like, oh, maybe we should take a look in this little town and see how it goes. And when we walk around and people all say hi to you and very friendly, so I was telling myself, if one day I start to have my own shop, it will be Sierra Madre. So it took me a long time.
Yeah, Sierra Madre is so special. It's, for those who may not know, it's a very quaint town rooted in a lot of history. And I feel like having worked here and helped clients, there have been families who've been here for many, many generations.
Yes.
It has this old-timey feel.
Yes, a very family gathering town.
You've got a few local coffee shops. I know Syndicate is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
it's a very dog-friendly town too.
Very dog-friendly
I'm a
town.
Shiba Inu. Shino, and he met lots of different friends here.
Everyone knows Shino now.
Everyone knows
the celebrity.
They all know
of Sierra
Shino
Madre.
than me.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know with the recent fires, would love to hear, I know there was just a lot of, while certain parts of Sierra Madre were impacted, even more so, I would say most of the city even just felt like all the debris and ash and cleanup. What was it like for you being in the shop here?
It was a tough time for everyone, but we are already the lucky one. Luckily we didn't have any strong affecting things, but we just out power for a few days. So I always tell myself I'm already the lucky one compared to lots of people. So I have no complaint on this at all, but I just hope everyone can be strong together and support each other.
Yeah, definitely. And supporting local businesses too.
Yes.
I think that's so key, especially I know so many families in nearby, neighboring Altadena, even parts of Pasadena and parts of Sierra Madre too.
Yes.
People lost their homes or have been displaced. So I know sometimes kind of the local shops or commercial shops, it's a lower priority, but that makes supporting the community even more important to ensure that these businesses stay in place.
Yes. We as I mentioned, here's we're very gathering in this town, and a lot of business owners, we all come out and ask each other whether you're okay, and we all support each other and buy a coffee, from local and here and there, and so it's a strong community. But I hope everyone will get better soon.
Yeah, definitely. On that note, what has been the most rewarding part of running your shop here?
I think it's the time that I can meet lots of people. Before this location, I mainly just work in my studio, and sometimes I think as one person, I just keep making the same thing over and over. It's very hard for me to have any changes on things, on the work that I make. But I think since now I have a shop, I can work on the other side, and I can start talking to more people and then meet lot more people. Sometimes people give me suggestion of, oh, maybe you can do this. Oh, maybe you can do that. And that's all the little things that I never thought of. And I think it's very valuable.
Do you ever do commission?
Yes, I
work?
do.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
but my
yeah.
commission's a bit slow
I
because sometimes I have to wait until the kiln is fully packed before I can start
Yeah.
the
Firing.
kiln firing.
That makes sense. What's the most unique request you've gotten?
Oh, unique request. I think everything is unique. It's hard to say. Because I think everyone has their own story of the work that they want, and each of them, the pieces are all special. I have one order. It's very special. As a daughter texted me and said, "Oh, my mom recently just passed away, but she likes to use handmade ceramics a lot, and her favorite cup is from me, but that's why she wants to request a little urn thing for her mother." It was a very special story. So I told her like, "Oh sure, I will maybe we can meet up someday." And then so she told me, "Yeah, sure, let's meet tomorrow." And then same day evening, I had a dream. I saw a light bulb asking me, I saw a light bulb. I asked the bulb, "Oh, what color do you like?" And the light bulb told me red. So I was like, "Oh, that's a weird dream." So same day morning, I woke up. In my studio, it's like this. I have a lot of different cups display. I pick a cup that I like, and then when I put the hot water in, it has a very big sound like boom. That it never happened. I don't know what is happening. And I was like, "Oh, that's so weird." But after I finished, I put it back in my studio. And during the evening, her daughter came and she told me, and I asked her, "Oh, what do you think what colors do you think she liked?" She told me red.
Wow.
I was like, "Wow." And then I asked her, "There's a lot of cups here. Do you want to pick a color that you think she would like?" And she picked the same one that I use in the morning. That's not the craziest part. And because doing a gas fire, as every pieces, they all look different. I have never ever in my life that has the same piece that look the same on the other, like as the other one. But during that time, that firing the urn, it comes out half red, half white. It's just the same as the cup that she picked. It was crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest the specialist thing that ever.
That's very special to have the just so intermingled together the power of her mom and your intuition and premonition. That's wow.
Yeah, it's a very
There's
special
power and magic in your work.
Yes.
and the spirit of it. Wow. With that, what would you say is probably one of the more challenging things of being your own potter and also running a business too? Because you have to wear so many hats, and it may not always just be focusing on the work, but everything else.
Yes, I always feel like my happiest moment is on the wheel making the thing, but sadly I have to do a lot more than that. I have to go purchase different material, make some glazes, and we have to learn how to do pictures, photos, website,
social media,
which is I'm very bad at social medias. But I think every time, even though I'm not good at those, but every time when I finish one thing, I feel so happy as a reward. I feel like, oh, maybe if other people can do it, I can do it too. You know, like I'll be like, hey, let's try it and let's go into it. And
definitely, I'd love to hear. Yeah, hearing yourself, you see yourself as a designer. Where do you find your design inspiration, or just inspiration?
I think it's more in everyday life because as a maker, I think. As a cup, you see cups everywhere. So cup is a cup. There's no different than here and there. But I think what's so special in them is the viewpoint of how you see colors, how you see shapes, what shape will fit better with hands, because everyone has different sizes of their hands. So every time when I make a cup, I don't just look at my own hand to see whether it fit my hands a lot. I always see, oh, maybe I have to make something as large as for people that has a bigger hands or smaller here and there. And I recently do work more with different coffee shops, and they're very specific on the sizes of a cup. You know, some coffee shop as a latte they prefer a 12 ounce, some is 14. You know, it's always different. So I think from that I learned a lot from them, and also for tea, people saying, for black tea, it's better to use a higher cup. So because black tea is more about the smell of it, but when it comes to a green tea, it's always about the color of a cup. So it's very different, and that's
really
the interest.
fascinating to learn.
And I think because of all the different drinks and people prefer different things, they give me all the ideas of what I want to make, and I think that's the fun part of it.
That is really fun. So it's so cool to hear, because also just hearing that your work is not just solely in the home, in the residence, but at coffee shops, all throughout the community too. That's really, and just to know the nuances of how someone uses one of your works is really fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's the best part of pottery. We don't just look at ourselves, we also think about other users.
Yeah. This is a very silly, maybe basic question. How would you describe the difference between pottery and ceramics? Because I know sometimes they're interchangeable, but what's the distinction?
I think I would say maybe maybe I think it's the culture as one of them. I realized that in I'm not sure whether the entire US, because I haven't been to there, but at least in California, the college that I used to go, we have more ceramicists that are sculptor than a potter. I was the only one or two potter in the entire major, and I think the good thing is we can share different knowledge to each other, and when we were in college, and we learn from each other. And some people are making mold, are more focusing on the mold making. But in London, I used to study in London for 3 years for my master's degree in ceramics and glass. We in our college, we are more focusing on different things. Like we have only around 20 students each year, and each of us do different things. And some do mold making, some do casting, some do sculpture, installation, pottery. I think the good thing is because everyone make different things, so we can talk to each other to develop our skill. And maybe I didn't realize that, and my classmate did. So we can. That's how we build the community to each other.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah. So would you say that pottery is more kind of tactile in being used?
Yes, I think
more
sculpture is more a display, a shared artistic feeling at least. But as a potter, it's more about the users. I think maybe that's the
distinction.
The distinction. Sometimes when I'm tired making on the wheel, I like to make some small random things too. And I think the sculpture to making a sculpture is my own time. I don't have to think about other people. It's my own selfish time to create. So I think that's the difference between a sculptor and a potter. Yeah.
What do you hope people experience when they maybe use one of your mugs or eat out of one of your bowls, or use one of your cups as a pencil holder? What do you hope?
I think I always tell people, sometimes some customer walk in, they say like, "Oh, it's my boyfriend's birthday. What should I give her? What should I give him?" I always tell him, maybe you should choose a cup. The reason of that is he will kiss the cup more than you do every day. Just kidding. But I think that's the fun part between the relationship as a cup, as a functional wear to the users, because for example, for bowl, I always tell people the happier moment for me is to have 5 bowls on the dinner table, because my brothers are always apart. They won't be home all the time. So if I see 5 bowls, then that means they are here. So I think pottery is not just only pottery, but it is with you everyday life. And I think that's it's a very strong relationship between itself and the users.
Absolutely, yeah. It signifies families here, or the idea.
And sometimes if you have a vases and your loved one will buy flowers, put it in, and it changes the entire interior. I think all the little things counts.
Definitely, just little moments of joy and just like that spark thought and kind of that slowing down of this is the moment we're going to be in at the
yes.
Well, one last question for those new to ceramics or looking to start their own creative journey. What advice would you give them?
I always tell people, don't give yourself too much pressure. Not only the outcome, but also during the making process. As I mentioned, I at the beginning when I want to make a cup, it always comes out as a bowl. If I want to make a bowl, it always comes out as a plate. You know, I'm sure every potter has been through this, but sometimes I think it's okay. You know, like it doesn't have to be a cup. Maybe the clay wants to be a bowl. You know, don't give yourself too much pressure. And yeah, I think that's
definitely just let yourself try it out. And
try out different things. Don't have to find your own style. It really doesn't matter because as a student, as a person, I go to different art school and they all ask for maybe you should have to find your own style. Style will come. You know, you don't have to fight for it. But enjoy the making process. Sometimes when a piece finishes, you might not like the piece, but if you put there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you look back, it's actually not too bad. You know, I think sometimes people give too much expectation on themselves and also the work that they make. Relax a little bit, and when you look back, maybe you will like it, you will enjoy it. That's how I see my work.
Definitely. No, and that's just great lesson for life too.
Yes. Don't push yourself too hard.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy the flow.
Yeah, definitely. I think 2 words I try to live by too as well. Well, that's so lovely to talk with you, to get inside your brain.
Thank you for having me.
Artist, designer, ceramicist, potter, it's a business owner. It's really fascinating, and thank you for welcoming us into your world. And I'm very excited to scout out some more items to take. I have some client gifts I do need to pick up after this.
Thank you.
And yeah, to our listeners, if they want to learn more about your work, where can they find you?
They can find me here in Sierra Madre. I have a home studio. Our home studio is still remodeling right now, but hopefully we will be done in summer, June. But right now you can find me here anytime in Sierra Madre. I'm mostly here. The only time I'm not here because I'm working in my studio doing glazing, firing, and things like that.
Yes, come by, shop at One Cup Studio in Sierra Madre. It's so beautiful. I love the light in here.
Thank you.
Then for folks who might not be close by, are they able to purchase online?
Yes. Or you can always find me on Instagram. It's very difficult. It's very hard for me to take pictures on each one of them because they're all individual. But you can always send me pictures of, hey, do you have something like this and that? And I'm more happy to help.
Wonderful. Well, there you have it. Another episode of The Thoughtful Realtor. If you love this, please give us a thumbs up, leave a review. I read each and every one of them. And this is such a great opportunity to think about how you can bring more ceramics into your life and into your home and really give it that wonderful feeling. Until next time.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.